Good Saturday evening, everybody. Commissioner Ace Coach 704, PEL, Primetime Elite League. We are looking at Season 4, Week 10. And it's been a minute since we've talked, but excited to be back on the broadcast here. So, let's jump into it. We're going to start with power rankings. And I'm trying to get this thing broadcasted out to everybody. But I'm having a little problem, so I'm going to have to put it in another chat. And we'll get it out to everybody here in just a second. And, nope, not there. Well, I have so many issues with this thing sometimes. Okay. Alright, so power rankings, number 1 team in the league is the Houston Texans. Of course, Levi's done a great job. Number 2 is Caleb, of course, also 8-0 as you can see on the screen. Number 3 are the Rams at 8-1. Ramon's, cooking as usual. And then number 4, we got a number of teams with 2 losses here. But I'm going to go up myself. I've won 6 in a row. That's the only reason why, after a 1-2 start. So we're doing pretty well. Number 5, I'll go with the Colts. Excuse me, is that number? Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, number 5, I'd go with the Colts. At 6-2, big game this week with him and Levi. Number 6, I'll go with the Jags. At 6-2, they I think defeated the Colts head-to-head. And then you got number 7, the Redskins at 6-2, playing well once again this year in the NFC East. And number 8 is the Browns at 6-2, had an upset loss to the Bengals last week. We'll go over that here in a minute. And then number 9, you got a slew of teams here with 3 losses, but you see who's playing the best lately, and Gabe just talked about himself in the chat playing well, so we'll put him there. 6-3, won 2 in a row. I put Deontay right behind a Gate, and then I go with the Dolphins next, right there, behind him. Then I go with the Jets, even though they lost 2 in a row. I still like him ahead of the Chiefs overall. And then you got a group of people with 4 losses. I'd go with the Bucks next, and out of that group right there, because they do have a 5-4 record. They haven't had their bye yet. And then the rest of these guys, I like the Bengals just because they're starting to get things going again. They've won 2 in a row to get back to 500. After that, I'll take the Seahawks behind him. Obviously, that's a really, really good team. You can't count them out of anything. I go with the Vikings next. They lost 3 in a row. He's a perennial playoff team, and he'll get it turned around. Giants are next. Lost their PS4 today, as a matter of fact. It's a little unfortunate, so that's going to hurt them a little bit in the short term. Then the Titans would be next. They don't have a user right now, and I don't think they're going to have a user for a little while, unfortunately. That next group with 5 losses, probably the best of that group, I'd go with I'd go with the Broncos, even though they've lost 2 in a row. They beat Deontay earlier this year. That counts for a lot here. Saints, of course, very talented roster. You can sneak up on anyone and beat them in the league. I go with the Raiders next. He's playing better overall this year. That's good to see. Cowboys are next. Lost 4 in a row, unfortunately. Seems like when he made that trade with me, fortunes kind of changed. But hopefully Lee can turn it around and make a run for the playoffs. This next group with 6 losses, I don't know how the hell Ben is 2-6. That's crazy to me. Y'all know how good he is. I know he'll turn that around. Next out of that group, the Bears. They play everybody tough as hell. They're a pain in the ass to play. But he's a great guy, and I love him being here. I can say the same for the Eagles, who I just played tonight. I'll go over that game in a minute. Really getting that roster back in order. He's playing better this year as a result. Steelers would be next out of that group, even though those 2 wins are forced wins, I believe, or sim wins. Cardinals 1-7. He's not a 1-7 guy. It's the offense, man. I think it's time to change playbooks, Cody. That's just my suggestion. 49ers would be next out of that group. Kind of the same thing. Try some different things on both sides. Bills would be next out of that group. Saw him play Jeff a little bit. It's kind of tough, to get your stuff in order in your first year. And then Lions and Patriots. Of course, I had someone ask me about the Patriots through a PSN message of all things. So I'll follow up on that. And then the Lions at 0-8. Just got to hang in there. Okay. No, I didn't mean to go out of that. Let's look at the divisional races, see where everyone is right now. We start really looking at the playoffs now because we are into week 10 of the season. So in the AFC North, we got a 2-team race with the Ravens and the Browns. Ravens at 8-0, Browns at 6-2. Bengals 4-4. I think you can only think about the wild card like being 4 games out of the race here. So you look at the divisional breakdown. Of course, Ravens are undefeated in the division, playing 3 games, 3-0. Browns 1-1 in the division, so they have plenty of time to make things up. But they gotta hope they get some help with the Ravens or try to, win both of those games when they play them. I don't know if they've played yet this year, but a little early to check on that. But 2-team race, I think, and Bengals have some wild card hopes. AFC South, still a really tough division, even though the Titans have decided to leave. Really unfortunate. I gave Scooby a lot of leeway. I gave him a whole season off basically to get, things to calm down and get stuff there. I told him he could stay in the league. He wanted to stay in the league. I let him do that. I let him go on auto for a very extended period of time. Then he chose to leave because of a sim loss. And he wanted a 15-hour extension to play a regular season game. I don't think any league would grant that. I don't know where that came from, but I hate it. He was here for a long time, and it's kind of a cheap way to go out. So, we'll see what happens in the future. But anyway, the Texans 8-0, the Jags 6-2, Colts 6-2. 3-team race here for the division. I don't think anything's settled by any stretch of the imagination. Texans have won 8 in a row, Jags 3 in a row. Colts 4 in a row, so everyone's playing well right now. Look at the division. Texans 2-0 in the division, but they have 4 divisional games left. Jags 2-2, Colts 1-1. Colts and Texans have time to swing that thing around. Jeff may be looking at the wild card with 2 losses in the division already. And then you go to your AFC tiebreaker for wild cards. Jeff's in a good spot being 5-2. Colts 3-2 still have some time to improve that. Of course, the Texans being undefeated, they are the one everyone is chasing right now. AFC East, you have the Dolphins at 5-3, Jets 5-3, definite 2-team race. Got someone interested in the Patriots. That's not a bad team. The guy that was here, well, I might as well touch on that. He played me. I won 28-18. He was a bit cheesy, not over the top. I wasn't going to boot him, but of course, when I play someone new, I, let them know, you need to do certain things. Like he was rolling out with his QB a lot, calling similar plays, a lot, things of that nature. And I just said, we don't do that kind of thing here, please just make sure you don't do that anymore. And he said he felt like he played a sim game, but he would leave if I had a problem with it. And I didn't say anything else. I just left it at that. And then he just leaves. So I had some warning on that. But, I try to give people benefit of the doubt, especially when it's a recommendation, which it was. But anyway, I got someone else interested, so we'll see if that works out. The Dolphins and Jets 5-3. Let's look at the divisional record. And both undefeated in a division, so they haven't played yet. So the Dolphins-Jets games are going to be huge games. I think they play this week, as a matter of fact. So, that game's going to go a long way to see who can, kind of jump into the lead for the division here. And then your AFC conference record, when you start looking at wild card possibilities, 4-3, 3-2, very similar. Jets have more AFC games, though, to try to improve upon that. So that's a big game, especially for the Dolphins, given their AFC conference record. In the West, Chargers and Chiefs at 5-3, Broncos 3-5, Raiders 3-5. So, 2 games separate the Broncos and Raiders from the Chiefs Chargers. There's still time to make that up, but Broncos and Raiders got to turn around. They both lost 2 in a row. Chiefs won 1, and Deontay's won 2 in a row. It's always kind of scary if he gets it going. Within the division, 2-1 Chargers, 2-1 Chiefs, 2-2 Broncos. Raiders 0-2, but you still have 4 games left in the division to try to make a difference right there. So you still have time. And then in the AFC conference records, Chargers in a good spot, 4-2, 3-3 Chiefs, 2-3 Broncos. Blake, you got to win the division to get in at 1-5 with your conference record. Okay, NFC. In the North, you got the new leader, Packers at 6-3, Vikings 4-4, Bears 3-6, and Lions 0-8. I will say it's a 2-team race here between the Packers and the Vikings. I know the Packers won at least one meeting with the Vikings because I saw it. 3-0 in the division, 2-1 in the division, so that rematch is going to go a long way to see who wins that division. Vikings have to win that to have a real shot to stay in that race. 5-1 in the NFC for the Packers, 4-3 for the Vikes. Bears and Lions are pretty much out of it at this point. So, good job, Agape. NFC South, Panthers at 7-2, Bucks 5-4, Saints 3-5, and the Falcons 2-6. I think it's a 2-team race at this point between myself and the Buccaneers, which I don't think I've ever said in the history of the PEL. So, good job, Bucks. Right now, playing pretty well. 3-1 in the division. I've got 2 games in the division coming up with the Saints and the Bucks on my last 2 in the next 2 weeks, I believe. So that'll go a long way to see if the Bucks or the Saints can catch up. Bucks have still more divisional games left. Saints have a lot of divisional games left. And then the Falcons are pretty much done. In the NFC, 6-2 for the Panthers, 3-4 Bucks, 2-2 Saints. Falcons 1-5. So for the Bucks, it's really important that they win any divisional games left to try to have a shot to win a division overall. All right. In the East, we have Skins at 6-2, Giants 4-4, Eagles and Cowboys 3-6 and 3-5 respectively. It's Redskins a division, honestly, with the Giants losing their PS4. It's going to hurt a lot. And then the Eagles are still kind of rebuilding. The Cowboys have got time to turn around, but they got to start doing it right now. In the division itself, 3-0 for the Skins, 1-2 Giants, 2-2 Eagles, 1-3 Cowboys. So Redskins look pretty good overall. I don't think anyone else has some real wild card hopes there. So I think Redskins, unless they just collapse, it's their division to lose. And then West, the Rams 8-1. I think they pretty much got it locked up. They beat the Seahawks in the first meeting 4-4. So the best the Seahawks can hope for is a tie if the Rams collapse somehow. Obviously, 4-3 conference record for the Seahawks will be important for a wild card, so they got to win more NFC games. Cardinals and 49ers, you got to keep trying some different stuff, man. So if the playoffs started today, this is what Madden said. Texans would be the 1 seed in the AFC. Ravens would be the 2. Let's see. Chargers would be the 3. Dolphins would be the 4. And then your wild cards would be the Jags and then the Browns. All right. NFC, excuse me. Rams would be the 1 seed. Redskins would be the 2 seed. Panthers would be the 3 seed. And the Packers would be the 4 seed. And your wild cards would be the Buccaneers and the Seahawks, according to Madden. So that's what you got right now. And I know the game's back on, so I'm going to wrap it up real quick. I'll come back with storylines tomorrow, but last thing I want to do real quick, go over the games that have been played today. I think it's only been 2. Packers over the Bears 14-12. Defensive struggle. Chicago tried to come back with a safety, apparently. Not many turnovers, but you see the stats right there. Let's see if anyone had a big game. Patterson threw for 205, 1 touchdown. Good completion percentage on both sides. No big rush in there. Decent percentages. Devontae Adams 6 for 120 and a touch. And then defensively, let's see if anyone had a big game. 1 sack and a couple picks, but no touchdowns. All right, good job, guys. Good competitive game right there. And Panthers over the Eagles 49-10, and we just played lights out. I mean, we were just cooking. 4 turnovers for the Eagles. McMillan had a tough game with 4 interceptions. Derek Carr was really on fire. 4 touchdowns, 299 passing. I mean, he was just lighting it up. He's so inconsistent. Lawrence had a big game, 12 for 101. Receiving, Alshon Jeffrey did have a stupid coverage blown. He had a wide open touchdown. That was easy as hell. Bird with a big game, 4 for 163 and 2 touchdowns. Defensively, I think there were a couple sacks. Yeah, no one really stood out there. And then interception, we didn't have a defensive touchdown, but, you know, the guy stepped up, played well. All right, guys, second half of the playoffs on. Enjoy it. We'll be back tomorrow at PEL Storylines. Thanks for watching.